Match day 28 in the books. Liverpool City, absolute gem of a game. 1-1 draw. Controversy, of course. We'll cover all that was from that game. Elsewhere on Sunday, Tottenham smoke Villa at the former home merchants' home. 4-0. Huge victory for Tottenham. Puts them in the driver's seat for that fourth position. Elsewhere, Arsenal claim the top spot for the weekend. Kai Havertz bags a late goal to grab all 3 points against Brentford. We'll cover all that was for match day 28, including a midweek extravaganza between Luton and Bournemouth. This is the Premiership Rizzle Podcast.
Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Back, Fuchs. And the ball in behind Damian Bunny! It's 11! It's heaven for Jamie Vardy!
You are an ostrich. Well, your head must be in the sand. Is your head in the sand? Are you flexible enough to get your head in the sand?
Now the fans are shouting every week, Louis van Gaal's army! Louis van Gaal's army!
Feet after a fabulous start, the game just got away from you there.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say about the game at all.
Drama from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
Wow, 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 wow.
Well, here we are. Back
Back in the saddle.
once again.
Back in the saddle with Sammy.
Can you believe it?
I can't believe it's already coming to an end. It felt like it just started yesterday. I'm already looking forward to August. So,
Man doesn't sleep.
it never sleeps. No one sleeps except for Everton's attack in this first game.
You know, some might argue that United's attack too was
I mean,
sleepy.
well, when you get a classic Garnacho like barely touched by James Tarkowski to start the game on the penalty, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And that opening foul, Sam, it really just kind of put Everton behind the 8 ball.
Put him behind the 8 ball. Tough spot to be in. You said not much contact. I thought maybe a little more than.
I mean, it was, but he
you-
went down pretty easy. I've seen a couple this year where there was a little more contact and it wasn't called, but
I think that just comes down to the
ref being terrible. Yes, I know. Not in this case, other cases.
I think
But
it comes down to Tarkovsky just hanging a foot out there when he really shouldn't,
That's true.
allowing that opportunity for Garnacho to go to the ground.
I know. Sam's got to defend our guy Garnacho. We've been on this Garnacho train for a while, that he's the best attacking player on Man U. At least, compared to what... It originally just started off we said he's better than Sancho and Anthony, and now it's just morphed into he might be their best attacker, minus McTom, of course.
Well, people don't realize this, but I actually shaved my eyebrows just like Garnacho.
Did you bring back the bleached hair?
Yes.
Good.
I actually had
Bruno...
facial reconstructive surgery.
He kind of looks like he just has, everything's fake. I mean, obviously he has the veneers, but...
Got the cheekbones.
The cheekbones, yeah, he has Botox at age 21. He looks like Joan Rivers. Yeah, Bruno steps up and converts it. I mean, I know they asked, and we've talked about this for a while, Bruno dropping further back. But I mean, what's even the point? I mean, they don't really have much going on in attack, so it's like, why not get him involved? We've seen him be successful as the 10 before, but now it's just he just doesn't really get involved in his passing this year. It's just not not been good. Where that stat where it was like Odegaard can have 120 misplaced passes and have better passing statistics than or accuracy than Bruno. It's just like I don't know.
Yeah, I
Maybe
much
maybe I
prefer
had,
him in the more attacking position.
but they don't really have a choice because they don't really have much of anything in midfield. But this game he was at least slightly more forward with Casemiro and uh Mino being in there. So it was a little better, but he didn't do a ton. So after that, Everton had like one or two pretty decent chances, I guess. I think McNeil or maybe it's
Yeah,
Harrison.
yeah. McNeil
McNeil
had
or
one.
Harrison around like the 20th.
Yeah, and it was just kind of stemming from United allowing Everton to get into the game when they really shouldn't be. Just poor play out of the back, allowing for opportunity. But
What else is new for United? I mean, they just are not. They're not built to play that way because they don't really have the quality.
yeah, Everton not able to capitalize on those though, and United Garnacho winning a second penalty this time. Ben Godfrey, stone cold penalty on that one.
Yeah. Um. And United really, besides that penalty, I mean, they didn't. I guess they had the Bruno free kick. That was pretty close. It was more just Pickford made a pretty decent save. But other than that, they really just had the penalties. And this one was like clear cut, clear as day. Ben Godfrey. It's like have some, you know, have some class. Don't go out there and make a fool of yourself like that. Speaking of class though, Rashford, this little side net penalty.
Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Rashford is officially back. 2-2.
I can't believe Bruno would let him take that. He needs to ramp up the goals.
True. Fernandes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, goes into halftime 2-0. Second half, not a whole lot going on. United with some more chances that they weren't able to convert. Garnacho, the best player for United, but even then, it's not like he was setting the world on fire or anything.
No, it was mainly like I feel like how it worked was just Bruno kind of playing it ahead to Garnacho, and then it was Garnacho by himself just making the runs.
Yeah.
So it just kind of came down to moments of brilliance from him, but and hey, I mean it worked out I guess for two of them because he's able to draw a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
I think Everton's best early chance was Doucouré had one like the near post that Onana got down on a knee and saved, but it felt like one of those where it could have. We're kind of due for an Onana slip up, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, they're not in the Champions League anymore, so.
I guess he's only just a non-UCL performer. The Premier League is where he shines.
Yes.
And what there's Everton, I guess, honestly looked the better side in the second half, but that's kind of because they had to go for it. I guess there's someone hit a bike, but it was like right at Onana.
Yeah.
Or yeah, Onana, and then
Was it not Onana to Onana?
was it?
I thought
I think it might have been.
I'm pretty sure there was at one point Onana to Onana.
That's great. And then there was a corner chance that was headed right at Onana as well, but Everton, I wouldn't say that they deserve to win this game necessarily, but they probably deserved at least a goal. They just all their half chances kind of just compiled and didn't they couldn't score, but United, not a terrible performance given what we've seen this year. I've seen worse out of them.
I think Everton
But it was
just bailed United out too easily with those penalties.
well, I think even the first one was kind of just, it put them behind the 8 ball, like we said. It's like Everton's now they have to come out and play. It's like, oh boy. So,
But they have no one to blame but themselves.
They never did in the first place. Yeah, so second half of the year, title charge back on after a little slip up.
Yes, you've heard of February.
No one needs to see March United. United. And no one needs to see Sheffield United, especially not Bournemouth these days.
Yeah. Giving it to them.
Giving it to them is right. Anytime you let Sheffield score twice, you know. And I don't want to blame one man in particular,
This
but
game hurt my soul.
it did. And I'm going to put it all on Neto. Put it all on him. Because our guy, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Radu. It's not Radu, but what's his name? The goalie. It is Radu. Andre Radu. He wouldn't have stood for that. Wouldn't have stood for that nonsense that went down this game.
That's right.
But I mean, even from the start, it just didn't look great for Bournemouth. Burton Diaz had a really open chance pretty early on. And after that, we have the big moment with your boy Dom Solanke. Sam captaining Dom Solanke against me.
Captaining Tom Davies.
You wish. That would have worked out well.
How about that foul? That was nice.
Yeah. I suppose,
Just fly in there from the corner.
Yeah.
YOLO.
What are you going to do? But then
absolutely brutal slip. Top 5 worst penalties in the Premier League.
It was tough. I'm just going to say it now so I don't forget to say it, but I was kind of hoping that Salah would have been on for the penalty for Liverpool, just so we could have maybe had like back-to-back days of some like slips or absolute terrible penalty shanks. So, but yeah, I mean, it was really Bournemouth's best play was coming from what's his name? Was it Semenyo? Was cooking this game. That was really their best bet, but I mean, really early on they didn't have much going besides a couple counterattacks. But speaking of counterattacks, Sheffield has one. Little quick play, little 1-2, and Neto slaps the ball rather than parries it away to the side, slaps it right at Gus Hammer, and
Hammer
he drops
time.
the hammer. Yeah, he dropped the hammer, all right, just blasting it.
Yeah, not good. 2 mistakes from Neto leading to goals.
Yeah. What else stood out to you in the first half?
Yeah, for Bournemouth, like you said, best chances came from Semenyo. He's kind of been their key point these past few games, even though, he's creating chances. His finishing at times is a little suspect. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's bad, but he was kind of their spark. Otherwise, Bournemouth haven't really impressed me lately. They just, I don't know. They've dropped off again, and they look kind of lackluster.
Mm-hmm. I feel you on that. True or false, Semenyo was in my fantasy Premier League team at one point this year for like 3 weeks.
That's true.
It is true. Yeah, I don't know. Their possession play and build up right now is just very stagnant, and it's solely relied on like crosses, and that's it. They can't really work a good just like regular passing sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, I hate to create excuses because they're obviously not at 100%. But then again, it's like who is right now, really at 100% health wise. So, but yeah, like I said, the rest of the first half, chance wise was really all Bournemouth, and honestly, your guy, I mean Wes Foderingham, might have let one of those in, but
Burbage.
Yeah, not Gerbich, baby. Evo Gerbich.
Hell of a name. Goes into halftime 1-0. Sheffield United. Second half, they get another goal. 64 minutes in, following a corner. Finished off by Mr. Jack Robinson. Just a weak attempt at a punch from Neto leading to the goal there. And Sheffield United in Dreamland 2-0 up away from home. Fantastic.
You know what I thought was funny? Is watching the replay after the fact, is I knew that the second goal was coming, but I didn't know that Jack Robinson actually scored off the first shot that Neto slapped out. I thought he saved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, when's someone gonna bang it in? Because if it would have happened after that sequence of 4 guys trying to have a swing at it and stuff, and the ball was bouncing around, I was gonna lose my mind. I'd be like, of course it's how Sheffield scores. But it's already comical given the fact Neto punched it off what's his name's back, Solanke.
Right.
But it's okay, he got you one.
Yeah, he did. A few minutes after that, he scored, but was disallowed for a handball.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah,
a few minutes later after that, Dango, the substitute, scoring at the near post from a corner. Some very suspect marking out of Sheffield United on that one. Bournemouth, they push on for the late equalizer. 90+1. They had a chance cleared off the line from a corner. And then Ines Unal puts in the second ball, headed on by Dango, the draw level.
Yeah. How about that? I mean, we talked about Unal probably going to have a big impact if he gets to play and stuff, and he's looked pretty good so far. I mean, the midweek game, he kind of had 1 or 2 moments where it wasn't great, but then he had 1 or 2 moments where it's good, so we'll see. He's a mixed bag so far.
He's taking goals from Dom Solanke.
Well, he knows what's on the line. He heard me compliment him on the pod, and he said, I must help Hank and not help Sam, because clearly you have to be Team Hank or Team Sam.
Yes, but
can't be team both.
In general, Solanke has been pretty lackluster for me in the past month or so. He just kind of has fallen off, and he doesn't even look like he doesn't get involved in the play all that much.
Well, he's a proper number 9. He's just gonna bag goals. I mean, he's not a complete 9. That's why he's Dom Solanke. It's why he's on Bournemouth. But he has a good amount of goals, to say the least. So I think it's the least you can expect. Kind of got unfortunate this game. Probably could have had a hat trick, but obviously he just let you down. You just have to sub him out of your Premier League fantasy team, Sam, and you'll see how good he is.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, some more last-minute action coming to you from Crystal Palace. Facing Luton.
So are you out on Ollie Glasner now?
Am I out on Ollie Glasner? I mean, this one, wasn't a very inspiring performance.
I know, but was it enough to keep you having faith? Because it was pretty grim. I mean, they get the goal with Mateta early. Shout out Mateta, had him in daily that game, and you know what? He came through for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not in on Ollie Glasner. That's for sure.
I suppose. They did have a nice sequence, though, for that first goal, building out of the back, even though it just came down to, oh, no, wait, it was just Luton passing the ball back and, no one running backwards for it. Alfie Doughty, unfortunately, making a total mistake. Was it Munoz who squared the ball to Mateta? Mateta with a nice finish, though, must be said.
Yeah. Mateta, he had chances this game.
Oh, yeah, he did. Oh, yeah, he did.
Just
yeah.
Hard to watch. Yeah, Palace on the front foot in the first half. They had the chances. Mateta having a header go over from 6 yards out from a corner. And then just before halftime, too, absolute gift from Clark, but not able to get the chip on target. Could have been a much different story for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, even then, there was a couple other ones too where they had a good chance. I can't remember who it fell to. But it was like, I don't know, 20 minutes in or something like that, and uh, squared ball across. Mateta dummied it to let it all the way through, and then uh, Palace had a chance at the back post, and then just skied it. It was like, what was that? But no, I would say that chip chance had to be the worst of the lot. I mean, he was 1-on-1 with the goalie.
Mm-hmm.
So, what can you do? Second half, Etse kind of opened it up and had a one you thought that he might make a move or something, and he just wasn't able to. And then 5 minutes later, same thing, actually makes the move, but cannot finish. It feels like with the Glasner experience, it's very much reliant on individual skill and kind of creating something rather than, or maybe your defense turns into offense. But as far as just like build up play and holding the ball and stuff, it's not really there.
Yeah.
But then again, who knows? Maybe he's just trying to, I guess, get through this year and then implement stuff. I have no idea.
Perhaps.
I don't really know. I don't really know what to make of Palace at the moment.
I think they're just not very good.
Well, that I suppose that's the case. But I just mean reading into more than just the fact that they're not good and their explanation for why they're not good, besides the fact that they only have two guys who can create chances. Yeah.
I would say their season can probably be summed up by the fact that Jordan Ayew plays about every game.
Yeah, I suppose. They did have a good chance at 75 minutes, Mateta with another one, and Kaminsky with a nice like kick save.
Yeah, and then Eze nearly scoring from the halfway line.
Yeah, that liner of a chip. Oh,
That would have been
Kaminsky
nuts.
egg on face moment if it goes in.
Yeah. Then getting into the late proceedings, big chance for Palace. Edouard has a thumping effort, smash off the crossbar. And then it goes to the other end. Andros Townsend Sr. dicing folks up on the right-hand side. Gets down the wing, whips in a ball perfectly placed to none other than Mr. Collie Woodrow. Step on up. Second Premier League goal in his career. First one also came against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I mean that ball by Townsend was like just perfect, and the
It was
flick header
perfect.
on, that was truly incredible.
He just knew it had to be Townsend too against Palace.
Yeah, against Palace. It was also just like Luton didn't have anything going this entire game. It must be said. But it's also kind of funny that Palace just totally didn't capitalize on their like 100 chances.
Yeah.
The one game Palace get 100 chances, they just can't capitalize on it. It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, finishes 1-1. Huge, honestly, real good result for Luton, given the fact that they played like absolute poop. Palace, that I don't know what to tell you. That was very bad.
Yeah.
Not even the performance. The performance was obviously decent enough against Luton at home. But the finishing was just putrid.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think there's something to be said about Luton too, only conceding one goal after they've been kind of shipping goals in lately.
Well, part of that's just Palace.
That is true.
Because the chances were there for five to be scored. So if you want to shout out Kaminsky,
sure.
I'll give you that. But the actual defense, I can't give much shout out to. Let's move on. Wolves Fulham. The There should be someone that's played for Wolves and Fulham that we know that's not
Adama
more
Traore.
recent. Nah, there should be like a Hugo Radiega or something like that that played for Wolves and Fulham. I'll have to find someone. Yeah, for now it's the Adama / Raul derby. So, getting into this one, Fulham. Honestly, I think I texted you live. I was like, I don't know what they're doing to be down like this. They didn't play that bad, and they had plenty of chances, but man, once again, a team that cannot capitalize on chances, the way Palace could. Fulham might be in the running for second place this week for a team that couldn't finish their chances.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of you have Fulham unable to capitalize on their chances, and then Wolves were efficient with their chances.
Yes.
In this game.
Well, it must be said, Wolves are struggling in attack right now because of all the injuries, but they still keep finding a way through things like set pieces and stuff to keep them going.
Yeah, they got Nathan Frazier out there, just running around. That's all they asked. Just press, put in a shift, and he did that. Because by the time he got subbed off, he was looking like he was about to die.
Yeah, I mean, this game was so open for Fulham to take, and it just kind of goes to show you with Fulham, you don't really know what to expect with them. They're like an impossible team to read at the moment. I don't know why that's the case. It feels like it shouldn't be that hard because you kind of know what all their players are, but clearly not the case. I want to say the first big chance was for Wilson. No?
Yes. 25 minutes in. Outside the boot. Attempt. Going just one.
Yeah.
And then Tosin hitting the bar. About 10 minutes after that. And then there was a big injury too. Neto having to come off. Looks like he did his hamstring once again.
Yep. What was I going to say? It was a lot more open than I thought in this game, and especially Fulham really able to break Wolves' kind of press, which is not the easiest thing to do. And it's a lot of things like one-touch passes, a lot of through balls in behind and stuff. I would say that the worst one had to be your boy Muniz right now because he's been in form, and he was one-on-one with the goalie. Took that outside the boot shot, and it just went wide of the post.
Yeah.
Did anyone stand out? Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, just not able to get it across the line.
Did anyone stand out for Wolves for you? I mean, Lamine had a pretty good game.
I thought Ait-Nouri's pretty good.
Ait-Nouri's been cooking lately, to say the least. Good job facilitating, especially, given the fact that they haven't had a great amount of luck with attacking injuries and stuff like that. And, another one was Bellegarde had to get subbed off for Tommy Doyle.
Yeah.
So it's just when it rains, it pours for Wolves, but they're at least able to get results these days.
Yeah, they're at least making it work. I mean, some teams, it just feels like they've given up on their season due to injuries. Like, look at Newcastle. They just have like no soul left in their body and just kind of mail in their performances. Meanwhile, you have Wolves who are like fighting for everything. Doesn't matter who's playing. It doesn't matter if it's Nathan Frazier up top or, at the end of the game, freaking Ait-Nouri was, leading the line at some point. It's just like they're just desperate to find a way.
Are Wolves the most likable team?
I feel like they have to be, right?
Yeah, just for underdog kind of aspect. And no one talks about them still.
Yeah.
You get the occasional, oh, Gaz O'Neill, good job, but that's it.
It is very strange because their play style is very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
Very
it's
high
just,
octane.
I feel like it's because people don't actually watch a lot of the games, but it's also a mix of like, we've had a bad run of English like managers and stuff, so they kind of get lumped in with that. But I don't know how you cannot love Gaz O'Neill and the stuff he's done for Bournemouth last year and now Wolves this year.
For sure. For sure.
I'm still holding out hope that he leaves Wolves at the end of the year and then goes to another team and makes them better than they should be. And he just
Another
does that
mid-table
every year.
side like Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I said that he should be at Chelsea, but they'd never do it because they're cowards.
I wouldn't touch Chelsea with a 10-foot pole.
I would because I want bully bucks. That's neither here nor there. Back to the game. Second half, like Sam said, Ait Nori off a nice little set piece.
Yes. Poor clearance
chip in.
starting that off from Calvin Bassey.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Has to be said.
And yeah, even before that goal, Fulham were still pressing. I mean, Harry Wilson had a chance that sailed wide and stuff, so it's not like Fulham, were playing bad right after half, but it's Wolves who take the lead. After that, little mix of Fulham possession for a bit, but Wolves were really kind of trying to spring on the counter after that initial goal. It's just nothing was really coming to fruition to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they got the reward 67 minutes in. Semedo getting a deflection off of Tom Kearney for the own goal. He's a little bit lucky, but sometimes you just have to put the ball on net, and
things will happen.
And things will happen, yeah.
Well, I called Tom Kearney scoring a couple weeks ago, and now he scores here. Albeit an own goal, it's still a goal. He scored.
It's true.
He just scored on his own net, so I'm just a little frustrated by that,
Yeah.
Thinking you can call something and it happens later on. But yeah, like you said, there's not enough of that, of just practicality. It's like, get the ball moving towards the net. There's too much of, it has to be picture perfect and amazing.
Right. Yeah. After that, Fulham had some big chances saved by Jose Sa. He had 3 saves within the span of about 2 minutes. That was pretty massive.
Yeah.
Wolves holding strong at the back. Fulham do end up getting a very late consolation goal. Alex Iwobi.
Great, nice little flick by Iwobi on that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get Willian can't play every game, but I felt like this game was screaming for Willian sooner rather than later. And they waited till the 61st minute. I don't know.
I thought Brozier
looked
looked decent when he came on.
Well, he has to play every game from now on, or they have to pay $4 million.
Be funny if they just sub him on for like 2 minutes every game.
No, he has to start the games. That's the thing, yeah. Or they sub him off after 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Does he have it? Does he have it this game? Nope. Okay. And they just take him off. So it wraps up 2-1 for Wolves. Huge victory there for Wolves. Fulham, I don't feel too terrible about their performance because the attack and midfield play was very good, but the defense was just kind of let down. As far as Wolves, very solid defensive effort and just making the most of those 2 or 3 attacking chances they had this game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the 2024 Premier League champions Arsenal.
Oh boy,
taking on Brentford.
Hank's doing his best here to.
I don't know why. I'm the
hex.
only one who said that they were still in the running, and meanwhile you're like, no,
Still early. A lot of games left to be played, my friend.
Here's the thing, and I'm just gonna say this before the games. Can I read you the list of who they've played recently?
Well, you can, but you also got to say the end of the season scheduled.
Okay, they've beaten Brentford, Sheffield, Newcastle, Burnley, and West Ham. in their last handful of games. They beat Liverpool, Forest, and Palace before then.
Yeah, pretty free wins. Those.
Yeah. I mean, the Liverpool win, you chalk that up to good play, but I mean, what we've seen from Newcastle, it makes you be like, was it
Yeah.
really that good of a win? Was it?
Well,
Are we sure?
especially with what they came out with. I mean, they didn't really ever look like they were in that game.
No, they did not, and Arsenal took it to them. Arsenal in this game, taking it to Brentford, but it's really hard to blow out Brentford and to make it just
Oh yeah.
non-competitive.
Yeah,
Especially the
even when
only way you can do it is if you're like, there's just once in a while where like a random mid-table team will just hit them on the counterattack a few times and those beyond their game. But if you're like a big team where you have to be set up in possession and break them down, and like it's never going to be easy.
Yeah, even when they're not at their best, they'll still give you a game. They'll make things frustrating. They did that in
Yeah.
this game, especially if you allow them to get into the game. Like what happened. Yeah, just getting into things. Arsenal scoring in the 19th minute. Declan Rice scoring from the cross from Ben White to take the lead. But like we said, Brentford making things interesting. They had some chances, not a
They
whole
had a
lot,
set
but
piece early
yeah,
on the edge of the box, like 10 minutes in. That could have been kind of spooky for Arsenal, but Arsenal very good, obviously, at set pieces, typically scoring them. But,
hmm
at Brentford, that's where they make their bread. Ben White, nice little dinked in ball, finding the pocket of space. Rice getting his head on it, showing that he can be half as good as Granit Xhaka.
yes, Declan Rice is pretty good. Yeah, Brentford, they were defending pretty stoutly as well, making things more difficult for Arsenal. And then that big moment at the end of the first half, Ramsdale taking too long on the ball, tries to boot it forward, but Wisa able to
You've been
block
weasted.
it into the
You've
net.
been weasted. He's too good. Who
Yeah,
else scores that? Anyone?
no, definitely not.
Who was Brentford playing earlier this year when he did that and completely clipped the goalie? Is that Everton or like Sheffield? I cannot. No, I think it's Forest. Now that I say
I
that,
don't
I think it's
remember.
Forest. He just like completely like got all goal. It could have easily been a red card. But that's
Oh,
kind of
no, I
his
do
party
remember that.
piece.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of his party piece. It's just to block
yeah,
it in. How do you
yeah.
feel like for Ramsdale, the fact that like you can only play against Brentford too? Like that's the one team you have to play against because Raya with his
Right.
loan stuff. You couldn't
Yeah.
be like, oh, you couldn't give me Sheffield. That couldn't be the team that Raya came from, and I had to play against
hmm
them. No, can't be Brentford.
Then you have
Um,
to listen to the Brentford fans saying you're just a shit David Ryan the whole game.
yeah, it's pretty good. Well, it went in halftime 1-1, and then Ramsdale had to come up big against Ivan Toney from the halfway line. Uh, I don't know if that was going in. I never really saw the thing. I think it probably would have hit like the frame of the goal or something, but
It
it
was
was way too
close.
close to call. Yeah, he had to do it, and he got up, perfect jump and stuff. So that was pretty big, and he made a couple huge ones as the half went on. But
Yeah.
Arsenal had a good corner chance around like the 60th minute that I think it was cleared off the line, or maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. I just
And
remember that the ball like ended up in Flecken's hands as it looked like it was going in, but it
yeah,
wasn't really Flecken who saved it. So
Gabrielle with the header on that corner. Yeah, and then another nice save, like you were saying, Ramsdale on Nathan Collins. I mean, there was some nervy moments that could have changed the game there. Brentford
yeah,
scored, and they were just frustrating Arsenal.
Speaking of could have changed the game, Kai Havertz
He's a game
with a
changer.
dive. Could have been sent off with the second yellow. I didn't think it was as bad as people made it out to be, because there was a little knee-to-knee contact with
yeah.
Collins. It wasn't like there was no contact at all. The one angle in slow-mo did look pretty bad because you couldn't really tell that there was no knee-to-knee contact.
Mhm.
But I was that last week I talked about the yellows, or is that 2 weeks ago?
I don't.
It all kind of runs together. But I was on my soapbox talking about that. I just don't get it. Like I thought that was just a rule. Like if it was like terribly blatant, you get a yellow. And
Yeah.
now it's like it's just not like that rule's just disappeared. I
Well,
don't understand it.
and like the spirit of the rule is that, people are embellishing in an attempt to deceive the referee. I think that's pretty clear what was going on there, you know.
Yeah, and not to mention, it's not like it's in the middle of the field and he's doing it. That was in the penalty box. He's clearly trying to draw a penalty
Mhm.
by doing it. So I think it was a little more gray area than people thought in terms of it's for sure a second yellow. But like again, I'm really focused on that rule right now because it's just never called these days.
Yeah.
And then once in a while it is, and you're like, okay, but why was that worse than what I've seen in other games? I don't get it. Brentford had a good headed chance. Collins was free. I don't know what that Arsenal defending was, but Ramsdale pushes it over the top. Did you feel like this was going to end up as a draw, or how did you feel watching this live?
No,
I didn't get a chance to
honestly,
watch it.
I just want to shout out myself from last week because I predicted it 2-1. But watching this live, I did feel the faith. I felt like we were going to get it across the line. I knew that we had it in us.
Even
And
when Declan Rice hit the post.
yeah, even then, I felt it. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean Brentford was pretty sunk in, so you had to figure it was either going to be a win or a draw. But it was big time play by Ben White, who's been on fire, gets the contract extension.
Mhm.
Ben White, player of the month for March, early front runner.
I don't think it can be ruled out.
Well, that's not the answer I was looking for. I wanted a definitive yes or definitive no.
Yes.
And I wanted you to absolutely
I mean, second to
bank on
QVR,
it.
but yeah.
Where's the month where it's all Arsenal players and all Chelsea players? Even though I don't think a Chelsea player's won it since Hazard. That's neither here nor there. Kai Havertz, big time header, gets it in. He's looking good. He's coming.
Beautiful.
He's coming through on the prediction that I had for him earlier this year. He just needs a little more assists out there. He's back to kind of the level he was at. I think I saw one thing where he's at the same stats with like 27 games or however many he's played for Arsenal this year. Same stats as 2021, 2022 Chelsea with Tuchel. So I think it's just one of those things where last year was a little down, but he's still a pretty solid guy. You know what you're getting out of him. So big time win for Arsenal there. Puts them atop the table for how long we shall see. Oh, did you want to go through who Arsenal play for the rest of the year?
No, we can go through that on the upcoming episodes where we got a 4-match episode next, and
Well,
then
you play.
international break.
Well, you
coming
play
up, too.
Man U and Liverpool on July 27th and the 31st. So those are games you're gonna have to look forward to.
The real games.
So SoFi Stadium, and I don't know where the other one is. Doesn't matter. Let's go to the Sunday games and get our feelings hurt really bad by Aston Villa.
Aston Villa
Who
at
came
home.
out not only at home, but coming out saying how much the game means to them, how important it was, and then laying that absolute stinker of a game.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they didn't play like that terrible. 4-0 wasn't really how indicative, or wasn't super indicative of the game, but Tottenham was definitely the better side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they really let the game get away from them in the second half. First
Yeah.
half, they were trying to play out of the back. Tottenham really
Well, first,
pressing them. And
can I say something real quick? I hate
No.
to interrupt you, but
No.
No.
Cut his mic.
No.
Cut his mic.
that is Mike, producer.
Yes. go ahead.
Why did they go to 3 at the back in this game? They've been 4 at the back like virtually the whole year and when they're at their best, and now they just go 3 at the back. I don't love any of their center backs minus Pau Torres. Even though Kantz has been better this year. Or just I guess ever since Emery's come along. But Longley, like, he's not very good. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So rather than have the regular McGinn and Louise kind of bedrock in the middle of the field to protect the center backs, they kind of space McGinn out on the wing.
Mhm.
I didn't get it. It's a very much like, we're going to play against your weakness rather than play with our strength kind of thing. It's like, you know what, maybe play how you've been playing the whole year. I don't know. Am I overreacting? Probably.
I think too, they had the game against Ajax.
Yeah.
On Thursday. I think that probably plays, a role in this result too.
Yeah, for sure. And then they had the game, obviously, today against Ajax, which they smoked them anyways. I don't know. They had a lot of counterattack opportunities, and it just didn't really go all that well. The one that was probably the worst, even though Ollie Watkins passed and Pedro Porro broke it up, but Doug Luiz missing Watkins on that through ball kind of summed up the whole day, because it's like it was there, and then one little thing was off and it threw everything. And that's kind of how the whole day was. Because Tottenham, in the first half, I'm trying to think of a chance they had.
They really didn't have any.
Like, I think their one of their like only shots on target was Brendan Johnson like shooting a weak dribbler at the near post.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of. So the game was there for the taking for Villa, and they really just could not get it clicking. It goes to halftime 0-0. Second half starts off Villa, another good chance, but Bailey being offside. It's like, and it's because the pass was just a little late. Meanwhile, Tottenham, they finally get a counterattack chance at the 50th minute, and James Maddison crashing the net from the Pop Sarr cross into the box makes it 1-0. Nice sequence between Sarr, Kulishevsky, and Porro to work the ball on that wing. That was perfection. That was Ainge ball in a nutshell. Right there.
You know what I really appreciate about the way Tottenham play is that they're not afraid to put in an early cross. It seems like so many teams are like so anti against putting in an early cross for some reason.
Which is weird, because it felt like there was almost like a meta going on a few years back with Liverpool doing it and stuff like that. And now it's like, yeah, you don't see it as much lately.
More teams will just dribble the ball until the chance is gone.
Yeah. Especially, which is weird, because there's only a handful of like excellent dribblers in the league right now. So, yeah, Tottenham go up 1-0, and then another little, I guess, counterattack, but not really. It's just a terrible turnover. Playing out of the back and completely malfunctioning. Villa, that is. And Brendan Johnson roofs it. Well-worked passing sequence by Tottenham. Sees Son feed Brendan Johnson in, and he gets it over Emi Martinez to make it 2-0. And then John McGinn said, hey, I'm going to have a go real quick, Mr. Udogie. And just takes a whack.
Yeah.
Talk about losing your head.
100%.
Total head loss. That's like just like he wasn't anywhere near the ball.
No, it was very clear what his intentions were on that.
I know, and I saw Villa fans talking about how they're like, it wasn't even a red, and I'm just thinking like, you know, what was the intent of that? Because he was nowhere near the ball.
Yeah, exactly. It was purely frustration, nowhere near the ball, 100%
Like
the
at
red
his
card.
kneecap.
Yeah, terrible,
So
terrible tackle.
yeah. It still seems weird to me that Destiny Udogie is Italian. I don't know why. I just thought he was like English before the year, and I'm still getting used to the fact that he's not English.
I mean, with a name like Destiny, doesn't really
Yeah.
come off as Italian to me. I don't know.
Yeah. After that, Villa they couldn't do anything really in the
No.
game but Tottenham had no reason to really go for it. So it's kind of just, a grind fest. But Tottenham able to hold the ball. They do get a couple late goals. Poro and Kulishevsky were absolutely cooking on that wing. And I mean, on that third goal, Moreno and Zaniolo just were not really doing much, honestly, as far as defense. And
Yeah.
people late getting back. Son's just unmarked, at the penalty spot. I don't know what that was. That was just total Villa
Yeah, I
giving
mean,
up.
yeah, exactly. I think they just gave up at that point.
Yeah. And Sam's guy, the man in form, the guy to rival Ben White for Player of the Month, team over.
That was the best piece of finishing I have ever seen from Timo Werner.
You've never seen that man against Southampton in your life.
I've seen him be offside many.
Well, that's against every other team. Yeah, nice little goal. Son with a huge game. Getting 2 assists. And then Tottenham see it out. 4-0. Massive result, massive performance. Very un-Tottenham like to go and do that. With that said, it's Villa, so it's not like they went to Arsenal or Liverpool or City or did that. But I don't know. I mean, it's obviously smaller team, but it was kind of maybe expected by some people. Not by
Yeah,
us, but
big implications as well in terms of the race for,
4th. It puts them in the driver's seat. They win their next game, they're a point ahead of Villa.
yeah, the vital search for that coveted 4th place Champions League
Now,
spot.
you have to remember that while they might be in 4th, they'll probably drop to 5th and Villa will go to 6th because United still have to pass them.
That's true. On their way to the title.
Yeah. Yep. So, moving on. Brighton and Hove Albion. Sam,
They're so
this
back.
team, they're so back. 1-0 own goal victory against Nottingham Forest,
They
who
are so
who might be
back,
the
dude.
worst team in the league right now.
Oh, wow, what a team.
This game was something. I can't believe how much Forest were in it, just in terms of not that they're creating amazing chances and stuff, but even possession wise, I thought that it would be 80-20 kind of game. Didn't you?
Yeah, but then, you got the Brighton spin the wheel of substitutions. Jakob Motor getting a start.
Well, he's been coming on as a sub for, I don't know, last 3-4 games, it feels like. So, yeah, we've been talking about this. I just don't see how, I could see how Chelsea would make the wrong decision to hire him. I don't see how Liverpool are linked with De Zerbi. Why would they hire him?
That would be a mistake.
They miss on certain things, but I don't see them just hiring Roberto De Zerbi. Yeah. Also, Forrest, I was kind of disappointed. I know he's coming back from injury, but Owani, he's been playing. I think he's just one of those guys who has to just start for you, just because he's kind of like a home run hitter in terms of he'll just get a goal out of nothing.
Well, I mean, watching Divock Origi start in 2024 is incredibly painful.
Yeah, but what about What about Divock Origi when he dropped that dime 2 weeks ago?
I stand by my statement.
I know he's no good. Uh, Brighton a couple set piece chances and crosses, but Forest's able to have one or two decent chances as far as like counterattacks. Yeah, I mean there wasn't a ton going on, to say the least. Ansu Fati was probably Brighton's best player, I guess. I don't really know. What would you say?
Yeah, gross.
Well, Pascal Gross is just too good. And you want to talk about a crap goal. I mean, Pascal Gross just putting it in an area, but I don't think anyone on Brighton could have scored that goal.
No,
It like had to be Forrest heading the ball in.
the own goal
So,
through the goalkeeper flap.
yeah, Mr. Sells.
Free Matt Turner.
He didn't sell on that one though. That was more Obamadeli selling on that one.
It was poor all around.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the best part was that the play started with Lewis Dunk like diving in the box from like Ryan Yates. He just like tips over and is like complaining for a penalty when it wasn't even, there was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say this. This was my least favorite game of the week, and we need to get over talking about this. Counterattack chances to end the first half. Force had like one. Second half, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Potential red
Forrest-
card.
Yeah, Forrest had a couple chances. Yeah, that potential red. Talk about that.
Yeah, Yakamoto just jumping into a challenge. I don't know how he didn't
That's
get a red
allowed in
card for
Poland.
that.
That's
Yeah.
allowed in Poland. So, yeah, I mean, the only thing I really remember is Chris Wood actually did have a chance at like the 70th minute, and Big Bart came up with a big save on that one. That's about all I remember. Enciso had one at the very end.
Mhm.
That was a missile that went wide, but it just was very uninspiring by Brighton once again. I just don't know what to tell you. Forest, it was shit, but I guess it was better than it
Better
could have
than you
been, or
expected.
yeah, better than I expected. So
Yeah.
they at least had that going, but it wasn't much, that's for sure. And then Brighton celebrating after the game, Sam. Good God, have some shame.
Have some shame.
Beating the 17th place team on an own goal. What are you doing?
Got to wash your hands after you.
That is just Brighton are somehow, they're just like actually unlikable now. Maybe with a new manager and stuff that'll change, but I just don't. There's like there's passion, and then there's that. And that's too far on the spectrum. Like celebrating like you advanced in like a cup round or something like that because you beat Forest in a terrible game. Enough. Enough. Moving on, Claret and Blue Derby, Sam.
Yes. So badly need Claret and Blue in our lives. You know what? Burnley
You know what's bad?
said they're the better Claret and Blue team off the bat.
Yeah, well, Calvin Phillips went out there and he's like, let me just play bad for a
Dude,
half.
I told
let me
you,
play.
whenever he plays, it's bad.
Moyes is getting to the part where he deserves to get sacked for the fact he keeps playing Calvin Phillips.
It's ridiculous. I mean, this game perfectly sums it up. He played the first half. They go down 2-0. They sub him off. They score 2 goals. It's like, how do you not see that this guy is just sucking the team into a dark pit of despair?
It was also great that Mikel Antonio came on at halftime for James Ward-Prowse in this one. I was like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah, that I don't say that either.
Yeah, let's get to it, Sam. Mr. D.D. Fofana with an absolute missile.
Chelsea's finest.
He might be. He may very well be Chelsea's finest attacking player. And he's not even on the team. He's at Burnley. What a cannon.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. After that,
yeah, nice little dribble play too on that sequence too, and kind of little dangle around the defender, and then just go for it. And I mean, Areola had no hope, no chance of
no chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, West Ham really not able to get anything going in the first half. It just kept getting turned over in midfield, unsurprisingly.
Which is kind of, at the same time, it's kind of crazy because
It's
Burnley's
Burnley.
midfield has been so ass that it's like, how'd you do that? So,
Yeah.
But no, it was definitely not a good game for West Ham in the first half. It very much, just in general, was not a good game in the first half. I mean, there's an own goal for crying out loud off just like a terrible squared ball by was it Cullen?
Josh Cullen.
Yeah. Mavropanos just said, "Let me tuck this into my own net real quick."
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
It's, you know why Burnley was playing well? Because Vincent Company had a jacket and a hat on. That's a tolerable combo. The suit and hat is a bad combo.
the suit and hat is it's a fashion faux pas. It's like playing Calvin Phillips. Just
Yeah,
don't
but
do it.
fashion wise. So it goes in halftime 2-0, and you're thinking, oh, Burnley, maybe something here. And then about 4 seconds into the half, they said, watch this total crap our pants moment. and like headed the ball like off each other. Somehow it ends up with Paqueta one-on-one with the goalie. And Lucas Paqueta slots it around, keeps his nerves, puts it in the back of the net.
I mean, just night and day difference for West Ham having Alvarez out there instead of Calvin Phillips.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I thought Burnley's defense at least kind of held shape for a while.
They did.
This is probably one of the best games of the year for that second half stretch, which is really saying a lot because it wasn't amazing.
But you knew that they were doomed after conceding a goal within the first minute of the second half.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time. There's no way that they could hold on to a lead for like 50 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. But then West Ham score off the set piece, little action there. Antonio gets it over to Ings. Ings scores, ruled offside. I'm confused because I couldn't fully tell. And then the lines, it's one of those where it's like they throw them up and they're like, yep, offside. And it's by like 3 centimeters. And you're like, okay,
Yeah,
I guess.
if you
But
say so.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Because I thought West Ham was going to be like, wow, they might not win. They get cheated out of it like that. And then Burnley still found a way to
Danny
just
Ings won't be denied.
crap their pants. Yeah, he knows what he must do. And that he did. Nice little turn there. I thought Trafford could have maybe had it. But also, I didn't expect Danny Ings to shoot that, I'll be honest.
No one
He just
ever expects the Danny Ings.
Back to net, turns, rips it. After I was just saying like 4 episodes ago that he's not Premier League quality anymore. But I mean, West Ham really, really could have won it. They had a few chances late. Even Burnley had 1 or 2 chances late. It was very odd game, to say the least, because everything kind of came down to the very end. But yeah, utter madness.
Yeah, a more entertaining game than you would expect out of West Ham Burnley.
Yeah, especially with Ings hitting the crossbar. He really almost put me to shame. Could have had a hat trick. Danny Ings could have had a hat trick against his old team.
That would have been very Danny Ings-esque.
Yeah, since he hasn't
To
played in
score a
quite a
random
while.
hat trick.
Yeah. Yeah, and then at the very end, Fofana squares one, and Areola comes out, makes a save, but it's not a great save. Goes right to Brownhill, and Areola rushes out, makes another huge save at the death, and that's how it finishes 2-2. Yeah, wild second half. Once West Ham decided to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything to say about West Ham other than
Stop playing Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, thought Bowen wasn't really involved as much as I thought
Yeah.
in this one.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not much.
I
Not
don't
much
know
else
what
to
else
say.
to think about West Ham. They're a
Well,
strange team.
they are, but then there's also Burnley, and we know what to think about Burnley. Let's move on. Game of the week.
The big
Well,
one.
on paper, there's no Luton Bournemouth, but it was a game, all right. City Liverpool. Initial thoughts on the first half, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I
Go
thought
back and forth.
the first half wasn't super scintillating, to be honest. I mean, it
It
was
felt like
a
a
lot of
cup
City
final
early.
where teams are
Yeah.
really feeling each other out.
Yeah, for sure. Took Liverpool a while before they were able to get into the game more. Yeah, and then just that opening goal kind of coming out of nowhere. Felt like, I mean, City had plenty of possession, but in terms of chances,
No, I get what you're saying. I thought that a lot was kind of made of Endo locking up De Bruyne in this one. I thought De Bruyne was fine. Especially lately he's kind of been down, so this is probably his best game in a few weeks or a couple weeks. Especially early, he had a nice big chance and it was saved by Keller. So I don't know. Honestly, a weird corner goal though, must be said. De Bruyne takes it
yeah. I mean, with
pretty much
the
just a little roller on the ground, and Stones beats Darweezy near post.
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a corner taken like that, where you pretty much just send it like straight down the end line.
Yeah, clearly they knew something about it.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny that City, um, there was something that was like City's like, yeah, that quick corner taken. It probably meant more to Liverpool than they did against Barcelona because there's that whole Trent thing saying their trophies mean more than City, even though they've won less and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of witty. A little comeback at Liverpool, but
a little zinger.
yeah, am I right? Little gotcha. But Man City, as far as attacking wise, a lot of chances for kind of like Alvarez, I felt like, in this game, and he really wasn't able to do a ton with it. Holland had only really had one or two. He had that kind of one-on-one where he's with Van Dijk, and he just popped a shot, but didn't really result
Yeah,
in much.
it was just one of those games where like he was not getting the ball.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, Man City was not able to manufacture that, but they held good shape, good midfield presence and stuff like that. And as the game went on, obviously Foden got his real good chance towards the end there. But for Liverpool, they weren't able to create much, and it was not a Darweezy game. I will say that much, as far as taking chances and whatnot,
mm-hmm.
to say the least. And we'll get to Luis Diaz in the second half, but oh man. Oh man. Anything else in the first half kind of catch your eye?
No, I thought the second half was definitely interesting.
Oh
More
well, sure.
action.
for sure, because teams are bound to go for it. Trying to think. There was one thing I wanted to talk about in the first half. I can't really remember. I guess it was more prevalent in the second half when City was caught open and it kept falling to Luis Diaz. But there was one right after City scored where like Darweezy peels off Akanji, and then Diaz is like standing all by himself on the other side of the field, and that if that pass is just better to him, I mean Diaz is 1-on-1 with the goalie, and I just felt like that was probably realistically Liverpool's best chance of the first half, maybe. But yeah, no, you're right. Set piece before the end of half didn't really do a whole lot either. So second half, right away, early on, big mistake from Sam's guy Nathan Ake. A little back pass, a little too soft.
Yeah, putting Ederson
Ederson.
under pressure.
There's nothing that Ederson could have done in that situation. Totally catches out or is caught out and fouls Mr. Habibi. So Habibi at least draws a penalty in this game. So good for him.
Yeah, and then it was flashbacks to Ederson getting injured. It was a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And then he had to get subbed off. And this one, there was quite a lengthy delay. You know, at first I thought maybe this was just kind of a gamesmanship type deal, but eventually he did end up getting subbed off.
Yeah, it's tough. Sprinting full speed at someone, they're sprinting full speed at you, a little leg whip action. That's not easy. So Stefan Ortega comes on. He makes a couple saves in the second half, but speaking of saves, Kelleher, huge save, 57th minute on Phil Foden. I thought City's kind of playmaking in this half was a little better, but their defense was caught out so many times this half, and Luis Diaz, in the span of about 10 minutes, had probably like 7 chances to score.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not that many, but
I
he had
think
a lot.
both sides, definitely in the second half, it was like, whoa, their back lines definitely look exposed.
To say the least. Yeah, and it's just one of those things where Diaz had a bunch of one-on-one chances, and one of the times he couldn't even put it on net. He just curled it totally wide.
Yeah, played in behind by Salah. Chance, but Kyle Walker with that kind of last gasp challenge from behind, able to get the ball, poke it away just in time.
Yep. Liverpool definitely the better team in the second half for the most part, and then 73 minutes in, almost a total fluke goal for Man City as Kelleher tries to punch out the early cross, and it goes right off Foden, and it goes right off the crossbar.
That might have been the strangest goal that had ever happened if it did go in.
Yeah, it would have been pretty wild to say the least. Liverpool at the very end, where it gets very, very intriguing to say the least. Liverpool have a good chance, but Gakpo offside as Liverpool score, but it does not matter. Gakpo gets it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the controversy too.
Oh yeah, plenty of controversy to say the least. First off, we were just talking about diving for yellows. Mo Salah, one of the biggest divers there ever is. No one will say it because he's a all-time Premier League legend, but he is constantly diving. Takes one here in like the 96th minute from Nathan Ake, goes over. And then non-dive from Alexis McAllister as Mr. Doku said, let me just give you a stamp right in the middle of your chest.
I couldn't believe that they didn't call that.
I can. it just feels like it's one of those things where they didn't want to make a big decision
Yeah,
to change
100%.
the game. It was the right
100%.
call to call a penalty.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. It's honestly kind of impressive Liverpool have had so many of these stupid things go against them, like that not getting called, the whole Tottenham game that first go around where they
Yeah.
went down to 9 men and they scored but it didn't count.
Right.
It just insanity. Um, but yeah, I mean Doku not that long before hit the post and then he almost turned from hero to zero as they gave away the penalty, but they didn't. Like I said, they didn't call it. Should have called it.
Yeah, it just felt like something was going to happen. One of the teams was going to score, but somehow just didn't pan out that way.
Yeah. Finishes 1-1, as I think I called. I know I called the draw. I think I said 1-1.
You may
You
have.
called the Liverpool victory. But it wasn't to be. So now it's out of both their hands. It's all in
Yeah,
Arsenal fans right
they're
now.
like, all right, time to put Arsenal in the pressure cooker.
Yep.
That'll
They can
send
go
them
all
away.
the way. They can go all the way and no one can stop them. Yeah, I mean Liverpool don't have that crazy of a schedule left. I guess their toughest games will probably be Villa and Tottenham. As far as City go, they've already faced their hiccup team this year, the plucky Chelsea. But City and Arsenal in a couple weeks, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, most definitely.
Do you have a grasp of how it's going to shake out in terms of who you think will win? Just give me a quick way which you're leaning.
I mean, at the Etihad, I think that's
No, I'm talking about the league.
the league. Well, I mean, I was impressed by Liverpool and the way that they played in this game. They looked pretty strong, but their finishing was pretty awful. So that
Luis Diaz this whole year has just been kind of off. I think for not starting Salah, it's pretty impressive
yeah, for sure.
to say the least.
It's tough. Tough to call.
You're not going to give me an answer? You're going to
Well,
refuse?
I still think City.
Okay. Yep. So, all right, moving on. Second to last game of the week, Chelsea, Newcastle. Chelsea get the party started early. 6th minute, Nicholas Jackson, Sam.
Nicholas Jackson cooking.
I mean,
it was
mainly
almost like a
Cole.
hockey type goal.
Yeah, a little
the
deflection
initial-
where you flick it with the
Yeah.
stick and it goes down. Goalie can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cole
Terrible
Palmer.
attempted clearance from Sven Botman to set that one.
I thought it was pretty good. I encourage that kind of behavior. It was pretty bad getting it out. Anthony Gordon, taking a knock in this one, and then them stretching his leg and then making it immediately worse. Didn't look too good, to say the least. Thought Chelsea played decent in attack for like 20 minutes. No, probably more like 10. Like 10 minutes. And then they just started force feeding Raheem Sterling. And they didn't do anything. It was like the 40th minute. And the announcer's like, oh, Chelsea, I thought they'd go for it here. It's like they're just passing it to like their worst player.
This is them going for it.
Yeah, I don't know what planet this announcer was on. A little sloppy play at the back from Chelsea. Not really clearing it. Kind of poor passing around. Gets to Isak. Isak punishes him, makes him pay, makes it 1-1 right before half.
Yeah,
Goes in halftime 1-1.
That was really bad from both Gusto and Disasi.
I thought that it was bad on Chalobah too, because Chalobah like took a headed touch, like he was gonna like dribble into it, and it's like
Oh, I
think maybe
might
Bruno.
Yeah, I thought I was getting Chalobah and disaster stuff. You're
Yeah,
right.
he
It
took
was
just like a
Chalobah.
headed touch,
Yeah.
like he's gonna dribble. It's like there's a guy on Newcastle standing right in front of you.
Yeah,
I think it was
exactly.
right to Bruno, and then he passed. So, uh, halftime 1-1. Second half, Chelsea come out, look a little better in attack, holding the ball actually, kind of looking nice. Enzo with a little layoff to Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer outside the box with a blast. Nothing that Dubravka could have done. Bottom corner, perfect shot. After that, Newcastle kind of holding possession and whatnot, but Chelsea looking very dangerous on the counter. Raheem Sterling, Sam, not squaring the ball. What's a better combination?
This man hates his teammates.
It's so I don't get it. I really don't get it. I think he'll go to the Euros, but I don't know how. If it wasn't Southgate managing, there's no way he gets in there. But Southgate, he loves his certain guys. Mudryk comes on, Ukraine Bolt, and you know what, Sam? He actually scores, unlike Sterling. He just steals the ball from Conor Gallagher on a counterattack after Gallagher took a touch that I don't even think was a pass. I think he just literally took it off him. Megs Fabian Schär, dribbles the keep, slots it in. Probably the best play of Mudryk's life.
It was a little fortunate on the Meg. The ball kind of fell nicely to him, but after that, yeah.
Makes it 3-1, and then Jacob Murphy with an absolute pile driver, Sam.
That was disgusting.
That had to be the hardest hit ball for a goal this year, right? Like, what stands out? I can't think of one that was just a blast like that. Like Fofana's was kind of like that, but it didn't seem like it was as much of a rocket. That was a laser.
That was pretty nuts.
Finishes 3-2 for Chelsea. This was more about Newcastle just not being that great. I thought Chelsea was, decent. Not as good as they've been at times this year, but decent enough.
Newcastle just looks like they're mailing in their performances. I mean, this was embarrassing, honestly. It's insane that they scored 2.
I'm so sick of people acting like Newcastle are the only ones with injuries, and the whole idea that Nick Pope being out is like the main reason that they're in like 9th place.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. I just don't see how that's the case.
Mm-hmm. They just have like zero desire to, attack and have,
It's very
finishing.
much. I'm trying to think of the right word for it. It's maybe like nonchalant, their kind of play, but like they're just not getting the same production from Almiron this year. Willick was like nowhere in this game. Bruno this year has been on and off even more so than normal with injuries. But
I think the whole injury thing, they just kind of like conceded their season to it, and they've given up. They'd show no desire.
Like, injuries happen, but also you're in the Champions League this year, lads. Like, what did you think would happen? You would just go through and like last year you only had the Premier League. So I don't know. I don't get it.
And using the like extra games, it's like, well, you got bounced from the Champions League, pretty early. That was a long time ago. Like that's not really an excuse at this point.
Yeah, I think the thing with them is that they got off to such a rocky start because they did have a tough draw to start the year in terms of their run, where it was like Villa, City, Liverpool, like to start the year. It was tough, and their Champions League group was the group of death. So it's one of those things where you can't get in a rhythm early. It's hard to get in a rhythm. You had injuries just like everyone else, so it was tough. But still, no excuse to just mail it in like this. It's still not as shameless as Brighton celebrating against
That's true.
Forest. That's the ultimate shame. All right, now we get to the game of the week, Sam.
Oh, Luton, they do it once again. They can't help themselves.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
They cannot help themselves, just conceding goals left and right. This one, they look so good in the first half, getting the early goal through to Heath Chong, wide open at the back post from Clark on the assist.
That was a nice little ball dinked in there, but great run by Chong to get in there.
Yeah, after that, Bournemouth, they got into the game a little bit, but still, first half, they were just kind of like non existent. Definitely in attack, very lackluster. But Luton finding the second goal 31 minutes in, working the ball well down the left side. Alfie Doughty gets in behind, crosses to Ogbene, who scores. Just really working the wings well, using their pace to expose Bournemouth at the back. Nice play out of Luton there.
Yeah,
Then,
Luton in this game were just really able to kind of catch Bournemouth in like the worst case scenarios and
yeah.
just catch them out. It was really, really good stuff by Luton, and that third goal was an example of it. I mean, the little 1-2s and stuff runs in behind. There's really no one on that side of the field for Bournemouth except for the one fullback, and Kabore and
Mhm.
Barkley just play a little 1-2, and Barkley's in. No one's catching him.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, the fullback play out of Bournemouth was like non-existent defensively,
Yeah, they
and
were
like
really
you said,
exposing him wide the whole time, and even then, like, you know, I've been saying Bournemouth is a little. I don't blame them for being this bad defensively because they're really, really not at their first choice to say the least. But like Mepham has been pretty ass lately, given what we've seen from him in the past. That he's at least been like tolerable at times, but yeah. Also, I feel like, and this is just could be me, at least how do I want to say this? I think that they have a very bloated squad too. We've talked about a couple other teams that have bloated squads. I think their squad's starting to get a little bloated. At least with that said, um, Areola plays the same guys for the most part, so I at least respect that.
um,
Okay, all right. Well, it goes
yes,
to halftime 3-0.
I didn't get to say how awesome it was that Ross Barkley just absolutely smashed that one.
He let a pile driver go.
That was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
3-0 at half.
it's
Glory
also
days
funny because
for Luton.
that that third goal for uh Luton literally was the exact same goal that Bournemouth scored for the fourth goal. It was the
That's
exact
true.
same play, the exact same side. It was just the teams flip flop. Uh, yeah. Well, they were up 3-0 to start the half, and it did not finish that way, to say the least.
Yeah, it was like a minute into the second half where it's like, oh god,
Yeah.
we're hanging on for dear life. Bournemouth
Yep.
pulling
Big
one back in the 50th minute.
big
Dom
Dom. Nice
Solanke.
nice dribble move there.
Yeah, after I had
That's
been
what.
criticizing it.
Yeah. It's just because you thought he would score 6 goals in 2 games,
Yeah.
and you thought you were big braining it by captaining him.
Yeah, great hold
Hey,
up
no, 2
play.
goals in 2 games. You take that.
Great hold up play. And a nice turn there. Score that one. After that, it was like Bournemouth immediately, like every chance they look like they're gonna score. Luton
I
holding on
know.
for dear life. It's
Yeah,
like,
that was
oh
that
no,
was
we
brutal.
see exactly how this is going. That they're gonna end up blowing this after they were up 3-0 at half and thought they were doing so well, but that lasted for precisely like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought they made a good sub Unal coming on and Tavernier. Um, in this one, they both kind of played really well. Sinistera did not. He was not cooking in this one, and neither was Mr. Scott. Uh, so I thought that was good. But yeah.
Yeah, a couple chances. Yeah, Bournemouth had that
Oh,
one
we
that was
we forgot to mention Luton. Luton scored, but offside.
yes. I was going to
Okay,
mention
well,
that,
never mind.
but you beat me to it.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, they almost scored from the initial attempt from the corner. Carlton Morris forcing Neto into a nice save, and then, yeah, Chong was offside on the rebound, but definitely a big chance there from the initial header, Carlton Morris. And that would have maybe turned the tides, but instead it kept going Bournemouth's way. They score 61 minutes, second goal. Zabarnyi, after a scramble in the box.
Yeah, a little looping header. And Dowdy couldn't really get it off the line.
Yeah, it was not great, but
It was not, given the fact that Bournemouth created a lot better chances in that second half.
yeah. And then just
But
3
then
minutes later, Semenyo
Semenyo,
with a fantastic shot. I mean, he it's frustrating to watch him sometimes because he has a high level capability of finishing, but he doesn't always
yeah,
show.
true. He cut right past Hashioka on that one, and then he just
Hashioka,
blasted.
hate to say it, but my guy, you got cooked in this game.
He definitely did. The blonde bombshell.
Rough go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a
And
big
then
chance for Luton from a set piece. Carlton Morris, another free header.
Big Ross.
Yeah, Ross Barkley just
Big
blasting it
Ross.
over.
No. And then Semenyo, just, what can you say? That was amazing.
Yeah, like you said, just working it down the right hand side. Semenyo getting in front of goal. Just has a go. Not really the best placement of the shot. And Neto got a hand to it, but couldn't save it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, this game was like top 10 moments before disaster at halftime. Luton up
Yeah, the
3
whole
0.
thing. Oh my gosh.
You
I
hate to
feel
see
so
it.
bad for Luton.
You hate to
I
see
feel
it.
so bad for him.
It's like they have no idea how to hold on to a
Maintain the
lead.
lead. No, it's not possible.
And it just keeps happening.
Finishes 4-3. All-time victory for Bournemouth. Luton, just sadness. They were out of relegation zone for a half, and Forest fans were biting their nails, to say the least.
Yeah,
So
I'd much rather watch a Luton play than Forest, I'll tell you that.
yes, 100%. Let's go to this weekend's games. Only 4 games this weekend. We have a lot of FA Cup stuff going on, Sammy.
Yeah, no one cares about that. We care about
Yep.
some high level games here. Starting off, Burnley versus Brentford.
Yep. This will be a game.
It will be a game. High level Burnley play.
High level Ivan Toney brace. It's gonna finish 3-1.
3-1. Yeah, I feel like he's about due for it. I'm going to say 2-0 Brentford.
Luton, Nottingham Forest on USA, the 6-pointer
6-pointer, baby.
at the Ken. The first game was a 2-2 draw, which Chris Wood scored in, but Luton came from behind to grab 2 at the very end. At a added time. I guess in this one I'll just be looking to see if Luton can get exposed. I feel like if you're Forest, you have to play Awani this game. Just in the idea of maybe Gibbs White hits him with a through ball, because there's going to be a lot of open space with Luton.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what Forest come out with, if they just try and sit back or if they actually go for it. I feel like if they go for it, then I like their chances.
Really like Forest chances if they go for it.
Yes.
See, I don't know in this one. I think if Luton would have won that game, I would have picked a draw or a Forest win here, but after that sequence, it's either Luton don't ever come back from it and they suck the rest of the year, or it's a turning point for them. That's how insane that game was. I'll go with a Luton 2-1 victory.
I'm going to say the opposite, Forest 2-1.
All right. They really inspired you the way they played versus Brighton. Is what actually happened.
I've seen Luton try and defend.
It's bad. Fulham Tottenham. Craven Cottage.
Yeah, this should be a
The
pretty
Clint
entertaining
Dempsey
game.
derby.
The Clint Dempsey derby. They love to
Yeah.
see it.
No.
Yeah, let's see if Fulham can be a little more clinical in their chances, if they have chances, assuming Tottenham will probably have a lot of possession. But we've seen Fulham where they look good on the counter.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a kind of open and exciting game. I'm gonna go 3-2 Tottenham.
Yeah, I would think so too. I'm going to say 3-1 Tottenham.
All right. West Ham Villa Sunday.
Double claret and blue. West
Yeah,
Ham
back
going
to
back
back
to
for
back.
West Ham. Gonna need a performance out of Villa here. That's all I'll say to restore faith. No McGinn in this one.
Home again. Yeah, that'll be big. Hopefully they
You know,
switch to the back four.
the all-time series, 49 games played, 14 wins for each and 21 draws.
Hmm.
So we shall see. Back in October, Villa thrashed West Ham 4-1. Think West Ham could be looking a little better in this one, but it's just you never know. If they play Calvin Phillips, all bets are off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna say a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Yeah, that's tempting. That's tempting. I'm going to say Villa bounce back and get a 2-1 victory.
There you go. Any predictions for this match week?
Predictions. I'm going to say that
Timo Werner scores again.
I'm going to say Zaniolo scores off the bench for Villa.
Timo's on fire. Your defense is terrified. Timo's on fire. No, you really need to give a shout out for like a Wisa goal. He's just gonna keep scoring forever. He's gonna
Yeah.
forever score.
Good.
He very well could. All right, that will wrap up this episode of the Premiership Perusal podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe if you're having a good time here.
Yes. Leave a cheeky comment.
Yeah, Sam loves him.
Indeed. All right.
Until
well,
next time, adios. Mis amigos.